Hi class, and welcome to our little video doing a walkthrough on the Intro to Data Work. So I'm in the modules area of our campus course, and down in Module 2, you're going to the IntroDatawork item. On here, you do need to complete the JASP startup walkthrough beforehand. That's where you install the program and make sure that it's functioning on your computer. But once you've done that, you can come to this area. Your materials are the Alpha Bravo dataset, which is a comma-separated values file, and it will open up in Excel. And the lab sheet for IntroDatawork JASP document as well. So we're going to download both of these. And save them into a folder where we have the Research Methods 1 materials, wherever you keep that on your system. So in the Downloads folder, again, you want to move these to wherever you keep your Research Methods 1 stuff. I'm going to move these to my desktop to work with them there. Here's my Alpha Bravo CSV and my lab sheet. So again, you have to install JASP before you can work on it. So make sure you do that first and download the CSV. We're going to first check out the data and just see what it looks like. So opening Alpha Bravo, when I double click it, it's just going to open as a Excel. And you should already have Excel on your computer. If you don't, it's available free to UWF students. Just Google UWF Excel for students, and it should take you to where you can get a hold of it. I'm going to make this bigger so we can look at it. So what do we have here? The columns are the variables, and the rows are the cases. So in this data set, we have 26 cases because the top row is just the header row. And we have all of our variable names up here. Now notice that gender and ethnicity, these are both categorical variables because they tell us what category that case resides in. This one that is in gender category male. So alpha is in category male, and also ethnicity, Latino or Latina. Whereas Bravo case is in category female for gender and Caucasian white for ethnicity. So whenever you have a variable that's telling you what category a case is in, what type of ethnicity or type of gender, you're looking at a categorical variable. Now, age and score, these are all numerical values that have a numerical meaning, like age 23 means something. So this is a continuous variable, same as the scores. It looks like they're on a 1 to 7, and that would be a continuous for us. Depending on some research, sometimes they'll class this as an ordinal, but we're using it as scale continuous. So then what is codename? Codename would be considered a categorical variable, but it's really just a unique case ID. And you'll see that whenever we want to de-identify data and not have someone's actual name there, we'll use either a case number or a case name that's unique to only that case. It still would be considered a nominal or categorical variable. So this is what we're expecting to see when we bring it into JASP. So what you can do here is go ahead and close this file and don't save it. Now we're going to open JASP on the computer. So just open the application first and just let it load up. Sometimes you'll see a little note that it needs to be updated. That's fine. You can go ahead and update it. It looks like right now I'm running version 0.16.2 on the Intel type of processor. That's because I'm on a Mac computer and it's older Mac. So depending on your computer, depending on your operating system, would tell you what JASP file to download and install. But now that we're here, we're going to go to Open, Computer, and then browse to where you keep your files. Once there, you want to navigate to the Alpha Bravo CSV and open it. So JASP will just cleanly import that CSV file. And now we need to check it to see if it identified the variables correctly. It's saying that code name is a nominal or categorical variable. Same for gender and ethnicity. Well, that's good. All of those are correct. Those are categorical variables. Like I said, code name is going to be more like a unique identifier, but it's still considered a categorical or nominal. Age came in as a scale variable. Good, that's exactly what we wanted. But then score 1, 2, and 3, JASP identified it as ordinal, saying that 1 is like better than 2, which is better than 3, which is better than 4, and that's not the case. So we want to change score 1, 2, and 3 to scale to help JASP know what type of variable that is. And now I'm going to do a save as to make sure I don't lose the changes I've already made. When you do a save as and you save it as a JASP data set, it's going to have JASP as the extension automatically. I'm going to call this IntroDatawork. Okay, so this right here is our data panel. It's the first screen of importance. We have 3 panels to go through in JASP, and this is the first one. Here we have, just like Excel, the rows are the cases and the columns are the variables. We've already adjusted the type of measurement there. So now let's go see what else is on our list. We're to number 6 here. In the menu ribbon, we're going to click the icon for descriptives. So this is our second screen of importance called the input panel. What I want you to do is move gender and ethnicity over to the variables box. And notice that as soon as we start moving things in our input panel, the results panel starts filling in information as well. So we can already see that we have 26 cases reporting gender and 26 reporting ethnicity. Now, because these are categorical variables, the information we're going to want is in these frequency tables. When I click that, it adds more information over into our results. In fact, I'm going to use this arrow to change over my panels. Like you can move back and forth between your panels to your data panel, your input panel, and your results panel so that you can get a good look at them. So now I have the information I need about these categorical variables. I know how many, so the count of how many females are in the data, in the sample. And I also know how much of the sample do they represent. So females represent 46% of the total sample with 12 there. Whereas my gender fluid and my non-binary at 1 each, they together represent about 7.6% of the total sample. Same for ethnicity. I can report, I can summarize the makeup of my sample by ethnicity and say how many Latinos are in the data set and what percent of the whole that represents. I have 3 Latino respondents, and that's 11.5% of the sample. Okay, we're on number 7. We're going to, again, ask for another descriptives panel. It's going over to, I can just call it there, or I can go over to the input panel and call it. Either way, it's going to add a new input area for descriptives. So there's my first one, and I can even edit it. I can say, let's call this one descriptives for categoricals. And then fold that one down, and here I can say this is going to be my descriptives for continuous variables. And I'm hitting enter. And that way it's easy when I look through my input panel, and it also puts it over here in the results, to know which one I'm looking for. And my continuous variables are age and score. Again, when I put variables into this box, it already starts filling in the results area. So I can see the 26 cases and the mean and standard deviation for each of those variables. I also have the minimum and maximum. In fact, if we go down here, I'm in the input panel and I scroll down to the statistics fold down. In here, this is default. It's going to give the valid and missing right there. It's going to give the mean and the standard deviation and the minimum and maximum. Now, we can make adjustments here. When we're reporting continuous variables, we always want the mean and standard deviation. So we should keep those for the table. But notice that there's just no missing variables. So it's kind of like just information that does not need to be in that table, right? So I can turn off missing, and that way it shortens up a little. I can take off min and max and maybe just say, just tell me the range. Then, much nicer table there because it's just the basics. So you can do those edits on your results as well. Okay, to export the results, JASP only exports as an HTML file, which is really handy because anyone can open an HTML file. It's just a web page. So we're going to go to Menu, Export Results, and Computer and navigate to where we want to save that file. So if I go up here to the menu and I go Export Results to the computer, to the desktop, it's going to already save it as the name I put in before, but now HTML. Now there's another way I can export results. I can do a drop down here, export results, it does the same thing. Or maybe if I only want one thing out of the results, like if I only want this table that I cleaned up, I could do a drop down here and just copy the table. And then I'm able to drop it into a Word document if I want. So I'm doing Control or Command Paste, and there it just put my table in there. Trying to get it wider. Now I'm just playing with it. So that gives me a start on making any tables I want to make in Word when I'm reporting stuff. I would still have to edit it a bit because in APA we don't have different sizes of fonts and things like that, but it gives me a start on all of this. But I'll stop playing with this. Let's see what else we have on our worksheet. So now I can close JASP. One thing I wanted to point out is typically you're going to turn in the results. I don't usually have you turn in a data set. And I find that that is confusing for some students who saved the data set but then forgot to export their results. A lot of times when you're turning in assignments, it's only going to accept an HTML file. So if you can't seem to get it to load, it might be because it's not an HTML file and you're trying to load the wrong thing. So keep in mind that. And that's it for our little walkthrough of Intro Data Work.